What if everything you've believed about yourself wasn't truly yours? What if your dreams, your fears, even your desires were never born from your soul, but borrowed from the noise of the world around you? Carl Jung once said, "Life really begins only when you find yourself." But most people never do. They chase success, approval, and love, wearing a mask they didn't even choose, and then comes the whisper. That quiet inner voice, the strange sadness, the restlessness you can't explain, that's not failure. It's a signal. A signal from the part of you that's been exiled, silenced, forgotten. So let me ask you, have you ever truly met the person you were meant to become? Not the version that fits in, not the version that pleases others, but the version that was hidden underneath it all? In this video, we'll uncover the real reason so many people feel empty, lost, or stuck, no matter how much they achieve. We'll dive into the persona, the shadow, and the path to reclaiming your true self, because your life doesn't start when you succeed. It starts when you remember who you are. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you've been living someone else's life, not because you wanted to, but because no one ever taught you how to live your own. From childhood, we're taught who to be, how to act, what to want. We wear smiles when we're hurting. We say yes when our soul is screaming no. And slowly, without noticing, we lose ourselves in roles. The good daughter, the strong man, the perfect partner, the achiever. But beneath the layers of performance, something sacred remains, something real, something you. Carl Jung believed that the most important journey of your life isn't out there. It's the one within, the path of individuation, the sacred process of remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. And today we begin that journey. In this video, we're going to uncover why so many of us feel disconnected, tired, or numb, even when life looks successful. On the outside, we'll explore the powerful concepts of the persona and the shadow. We'll question everything you thought was you, and you'll begin to see how the story you've been living may not be the one your soul was meant to tell. But this isn't just about theory, this is about transformation. And if you're ready to go deeper, to reclaim your truth, your strength, your freedom, I created something for you. You'll find the link to the full guided journey in the comments. It's a resource that's helping people around the world decode their inner conflicts and realign with their true self. If you've been searching for clarity, this might be the beginning you've been waiting for. And if this kind of content speaks to you, if you're tired of surface-level answers and you're ready to go deep, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because your healing, your growth, and your authentic life, they're not waiting out there, they're waiting in here. Let's begin. Most people don't realize when it happens. You don't wake up one morning and say, "I've lost myself." It's quieter than that. It happens slowly, in moments you barely notice. The first time you held back a truth because it was too much. The moment you said yes when every cell in your body wanted to say no. The day you started performing instead of simply being. Little by little, you adapted. You became what was safe, what was applauded, what would help you fit in. And over time, you forgot. You forgot what it felt like to follow your instincts, to trust your desires, to believe that who you are, without filters or masks, is enough. Carl Jung believed this silent disappearance of the authentic self is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a human being. Not because it causes immediate harm, but because it slowly deadens the soul, and eventually you feel it, in the emptiness that success can't fill, in the anxiety that no routine can silence, in the deep ache that whispers, "This isn't who I really am." Jung described the false self we build as the persona, a mask we wear to navigate the world. It's not evil, it's not wrong, it's a survival strategy. As children, we learn what behaviors win us love, what traits make us good, worthy, easy to handle, and we begin to hide everything that doesn't fit: our sadness, our anger, our wildness, our true desires. These parts don't vanish, they get buried, they retreat into the unconscious and form what Jung called the shadow, not because they're bad, but because they've been pushed into the dark. And here's the paradox: the more we pretend to be someone we're not, the more we feel like something's missing. We become strangers to ourselves, performers in our own lives. You might think, but I'm functioning, I'm doing well, I'm being who I'm supposed to be. And yet, the emptiness remains. That's because the soul cannot be tricked. You can't perform your way into wholeness. You have to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. That remembering, that awakening, is the beginning of individuation. Jung said individuation is the path of integrating the conscious with the unconscious, of becoming whole, not perfect. It's the work of reclaiming the parts of you that were denied, dismissed, or exiled, and welcoming them home. But this isn't an easy path. It requires more than affirmations or good intentions. It demands radical honesty. It asks you to look at your life and ask, whose dreams am I chasing? Whose approval am I still seeking? What parts of me have I buried just to belong? And it's in asking these questions, painful as they may be, that you begin to retrieve yourself. Sometimes the body speaks first, a panic attack that arrives out of nowhere, an illness that forces you to slow down, a depression that no success can lift. These are not failures, they're messengers, signals from the unconscious crying out, you are living a life that doesn't match your soul. At first you might resist. You might try to silence the discomfort with distractions, substances, or even toxic positivity, but the shadow doesn't go away. It waits, it watches, it whispers in your reactions, your triggers, your pain. It's not trying to hurt you, it's trying to wake you up, because what you reject, what you refuse to look at, still runs your life from the dark. The inner child you silenced, the anger you repressed, the boundaries you never learned to set. They all become unconscious. Programs, sabotaging relationships, draining your energy, pulling you into cycles you don't understand. This is why the journey back to yourself is so sacred. It's not about fixing what's broken, because you were never broken. It's about reclaiming what was lost. The fire in your spirit, the softness in your heart, the clarity of your truth. And this journey has already begun. The fact that you're here, listening, feeling, means something inside you is ready to stop performing, ready to be real, ready to meet yourself again. Not the mask, but the soul. And if you've been struggling to find that path, to go beyond the surface and reconnect with your inner compass, there's something that might help. In the comments, you'll find a link to a guide I created for people like us, those who are no longer satisfied with pretending. It's a powerful tool for decoding your unconscious patterns, embracing your shadow, and stepping into the life that actually belongs to you, not the life someone else imagined. Yours. Take a breath. You've already taken the hardest step, waking up. The rest is remembering. There is a moment, subtle, almost imperceptible, when you realize the person you've been showing to the world is not the person who lives in the quiet corners of your heart. It hits you in those still, reflective moments, not in chaos, but in calm. Not when you're surrounded by people, but when you're finally alone and the silence becomes too loud to ignore. This realization isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough, the beginning of something sacred. Carl Jung called this the tension between the persona and the self. The persona is the mask we wear, the role we play to survive, to succeed, to be seen as acceptable. It's the smile when you feel like screaming, the confidence you wear like armor, the calm exterior that hides the storm. We all have one. In fact, we need it. It helps us function in society, hold a job, speak with strangers, navigate complex social systems. But the danger begins when we start to believe that the mask is who we are, when we confuse the performance with the person, when we trade authenticity for applause. That's when life becomes hollow, because the soul knows when it's being impersonated, and it will rebel, quietly at first, then louder. You feel it as burnout, as emotional fatigue, as relationships that feel fake, because they were built on a version of you that isn't real, and deep within something is crying out. I want to be seen. The real me. Not the mask, not the role, not the version that pleases everyone else. But who is that real you? To find out, you must turn inward, into the shadows. Jung taught that we all carry a shadow self, not evil, but hidden. It's the part of you that holds everything you were told to suppress. Your anger, your needs, your creativity, your sexuality, your sensitivity. The parts that made others uncomfortable when you were young. The traits that were too much for your culture. Your caregivers, your community, you didn't lose them. You just buried them, but they didn't die. They manifest now in different forms, in envy, in fear, in shame, in your inability to speak up, in your tendency to sabotage joy before it fully arrives. And if you're wondering why nothing ever feels enough, why success still leaves you hollow, why love slips through your fingers, it may be because the real you has been exiled in favor of the mask. Jung believed that until we integrate the shadow, until we bring it out of the dark and into the light, we will never feel whole. That's because your shadow holds more than your wounds. It holds your power. The parts of you you've abandoned are often the exact traits you need to reclaim to move forward. The assertiveness you denied to avoid conflict might be the key to finally setting boundaries. The sensitivity you tried to toughen up might be the gateway to deeper love and empathy. The wild creativity you silenced for practicality might be the source of your life's greatest work. Integrating the shadow isn't about becoming someone else. It's about recovering what's already yours. But how? It starts with radical self-honesty, noticing the patterns that hurt you, tracing your emotional reactions to their roots, getting curious instead of judgmental when you feel triggered. When something bothers you in someone else, stop and ask, is this a reflection of something I've rejected in me? When you're overreacting to a situation, pause and ask, is this pain really from now or from then? These are clues, breadcrumbs, signs that your unconscious is trying to speak. Don't push them away, follow them, and then give your shadow a voice. Write, speak, feel. Let the parts of you that were silenced finally tell their story. And here's the truth Jung understood deeply. You can't heal what you're not willing to face. But when you face it with compassion, something miraculous happens. You stop needing to run. You stop needing to numb. You stop needing to prove yourself constantly. Because you start to trust that who you are is enough. And that's when the healing deepens. Because it's not just about introspection. It's about transformation. You stop choosing relationships based on who can fill your emptiness, and start attracting people who meet you in your fullness. You stop chasing success as a way to earn your worth and begin creating from your truth. You stop pretending to be the person the world expects and finally become the person your soul remembers. That is what Jung meant by individuation, not perfection, not spiritual bypassing, but wholeness. It's the beautiful, sometimes painful, but always liberating journey of becoming who you really are, beneath the mask, beyond the shadow. If you're ready to take this step. If you're tired of living someone else's story and want to reclaim your own, know that you are not alone. In the pinned comment below, you'll find a guide I created for those walking this path. It's not another quick fix. It's a roadmap for reconnecting with the self you left behind, the one who's still waiting, quietly, patiently, for you to come home. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and every decision you make, what you wear, what you eat, what you create, who you love, flows not from fear, not from pressure, but from the core of who you really are. No more pretending. No more shape-shifting to be liked. No more betraying your soul just to fit in. Sounds simple, right? But for most people, this is the most terrifying step of all, to live in full alignment with your true self. Because to do so, you must be willing to disappoint the world, so you can finally stop disappointing yourself. Carl Jung called this individuation, not a one-time decision, but a lifelong process. Not a goal you achieve, but a way of being. It means choosing truth over approval, wholeness over perfection, freedom over familiarity. And the truth is, many people spend their whole lives avoiding this choice. They keep playing the role assigned to them. The obedient child, the perfect partner, the high achiever, the peacemaker, the martyr. They smile, nod, comply, until something inside begins to rot. Because every time you betray your inner truth just to avoid conflict, rejection, or disapproval, you abandon yourself a little more. And nothing in the outer world, no amount of praise, money, or validation, can compensate for that inner exile. That's why healing the shadow is only the beginning. The true transformation comes when you act in coherence with your truth. That's when the internal shift becomes visible. That's when your life begins to align with your soul. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. And here's what that kind of life looks like. You no longer chase people who can't love you. You no longer overextend just to be needed. You no longer compromise your values just to feel included. You speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. You set boundaries without guilt. You say yes to what lights you up, and no to what drains your spirit. You become your own safe place, and the world slowly begins to respond. Authenticity has a frequency, and when you live in it, you attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match your true vibration. But the path isn't always easy. There will be moments of doubt, discomfort, and loss. Some people won't understand, some will leave. But here's the truth. Not everyone was meant to walk with you into your wholeness. Some were only there for the version of you that stayed small. Let them go. You are not here to shrink, you are here to rise. Every time you honor your truth, you reclaim a piece of your soul, and eventually those fragments begin to fuse together, until the person staring back in the mirror is no longer a mask, but you whole, real, radiant, and that's when life truly begins. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." But now you are aware, you see the patterns, you hear the inner voice, you feel the quiet pull toward your true north, and you know you can no longer ignore it, because the cost of abandoning yourself is far too high. So here's the invitation. Not to change everything at once, but to begin, one choice at a time, to live with more honesty, more clarity, more soul. If this message stirred something in you, if you're ready to reclaim the parts of you that were buried long ago, I've created something that may support your next step. In the pinned comment, you'll find a link to a transformational guide crafted for those walking the path of inner truth, individuation, and radical self-acceptance. It's not about selling you another quick fix. It's about empowering you with tools rooted in deep psychology so you can walk this path with clarity, courage, and conviction. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. We're building a space for souls like yours, those tired of living half-truths, ready to rise into full alignment, because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more whole people, more honest people, more awakened hearts. And if you're reading this, you're already on the way. Welcome home.